So this used to be my laser hub. I've pulled it apart. I've just sort of placed it so you can get an idea of what it used to look like. It had this on the front like that. So I'll talk about the reasons why this didn't work and why I am building a new one. In this shot you can see that I've got two laser machines. One tucked away right in the corner is the X-Tool 20 watt, which I've had for a couple of years, but the other is the Creality Falcon 2, which was generously gifted to me by my very good friend Anthony from Barber's Paddock Woodworking. The main reason I'm building this cabinet comes down to two things. One, my previous table was simply too high, making it hard to see the marking, especially on the X-Tool, because I highly rely on the grid system. The Creality isn't that much of an issue because it has a built-in camera, and I'll talk more about this later. The second reason is space. I needed both machines to live in one compact setup instead of taking up separate areas of the workshop. With only a 6x6 meter workspace, consolidating everything into one single cabinet just made sense. So my phone ran out of storage, but the only thing that I've done is glued and screwed the panels together and casters. So that is all that I couldn't record. So now that the cabinet's put together, I'm just doing some rough placement of how everything would fit and the sizes. So the width of the keyboard holder is about 300, so that looks okay. I'm happy with that. Leaves me enough room for all the wiring and everything to go in the back. And yeah, so happy with that. And also checking what this size should be. Yeah, and just trying to use as much as scrap / leftover bits I have. So yeah, keeping the costs down as much as possible. I wanted to quickly explain why I am trying to keep this project low budget, using scraps and recycling the old laser stand. One of the things that's been happening in the background for me is that I am in the middle of a home renovation, which means that it has kept me away from the workshop, but also tied me up financially. So this project really needed to be cheap and quick. So the fancy looking panel that you see here was actually donated to me by a cafe, and I've used that for the top, drawer base, and the bottom. It's made out of 16mm MDF, and this really stabilizes the cabinet, given the cabinet walls are 12mm plywood, which were really not in a great condition and were bowing in some sections. And realistically, the only money that I've spent on this project is for the drawer channels, a little bit of screw, a little bit of glue, and that's pretty much it. If you really dive into the nitty-gritties, you could say a little bit wear and tear on some of the materials, a couple of nails, but that's about it. Speaking about time efficiency, the way this project came together was fairly straightforward. In total, I spent about 16 hours in the shop over 2 days, roughly 8 hours each, but not all in one stretch. What really helped keep the shop time low was having a clear plan of action and a set of drawings prepared beforehand. I probably spent around 2 hours drawing everything up and a bit of extra time running around picking up some of the hardware. So if I accounted for design work and everything else, I'd say the whole project took me about 20 hours. And in my opinion, that's a very good turnaround considering the entire cabinet was designed, built, and fully functional in 3 days. Okay, so the cabinet's all put together, obviously. But I've hit a couple of snag points. One of the points I did anticipate was the Creality comes with an exhaust port on the left, if you're looking from the back, on the right or the left. Actually, you can swap over. The issue with that is that exhaust needs to vent out. That comes through a pipe that has to have an opening in the cabinet to pass through. Then I can vent it out to the window. But what I had not anticipated was that the laser coming all the way out, I thought it would stop here and that would work. The issue with that is every time or when I would want to take the laser completely out, I would have to take the vent out and then pull it out. So I think the better idea would be to have a through and through opening as compared to what I have sketched. So that's issue number one. Issue number two is that there are air pumps connected to both the lasers. The one that connects the Creality is not long enough for it to come all the way from that shelf on the back to the front port here. It barely just reaches, and if I pull the drawer out, it doesn't, even if I just have it half open, because I don't think I would need to open the laser more than half, but if I did, I would have to unplug it. Additionally, what I did not anticipate or calculate was the port on here is just too long that it hits the wall here. I could move the laser to the right, but then that doesn't leave enough room on the right hand side for the vent. Initially the design had this opening around 670. I've reduced it by 20 mil because of the material I had to accommodate for that, but I don't think this problem would have been solved even if I did make it a touch wider. So yeah, so I'm just thinking about a couple of options to work out how to place these and where to place these air pumps. Potentially the Creality air pump can sit there close enough, but the air pump for X-Tool, the issue with this one is that there's an on and off button on it, but it's closer to the power point, so I'll have to make sure its distance is such that I have access. Again, I see using the air pump for the X-Tool very minimal, so see how we go. I still like the option to have it so I can switch it on and off when I need to. But yeah, things I just didn't anticipate. Yeah, okay. I'll tackle these challenges and keep moving forward. To be very honest, the only reason for me to show this was for my own satisfaction. I was genuinely very proud that I still remembered my year 8 geometry and how to draw an angle bisector. After marking out the sections that needed to be cut out, I used scrap pieces of timber as backing to prevent blowout while drilling with a Forstner bit. But overall, this was one of the simpler parts of the build. Taking my time in marking out everything, drilling the holes, and then simply cutting those sections out with the saw. As you saw, I've made that cut out on that side for the exhaust vent. It comes out like that if I need it to. It'll move along with the groove, and I don't think I need to bring out the laser any more than this, because that's when it stops. But that's only when and if I need to. I've got the option, I don't have to worry about it. So that's that. Structurally, it hasn't caused any issue because it is plywood. However, because the plywood that I used was slightly bored, this section here and here has come in a little bit, but it's manageable. It's not the end of the world. Similarly, on this side, I've got the groove for the vent and this side. That's good. Very long. And just tuck away. Have I gone a little bit too big? Yeah, probably. I could have gone smaller, but that's alright. That didn't take long. So that's that. One last thing I want to leave you with is something I realized during this build. We often get pulled away from the shop, in my case because of the home renovations, but spaces like this are important because they give us a break from everything else. Even simple tasks like sharpening a chisel, organizing the bench, or sweeping the floor can help mentally and make it easier to jump back into the shop when you do have the time. With this project done, I'm hoping to spend more time in the workshop in 2026 and make more content. So thank you for watching and subscribe for more in the future.